But why do people talk to you about politics?
That I have some sort of view which other young people think the same, which may or may not be true.
Get ready for an exclusive story. Mick Jagger, lead vocalist and one of the founding members of the Rolling Stones band, has long been revered for his electrifying performances, trailblazing musical contributions, and enigmatic persona. Yet behind the spotlight lies a story of profound struggle and resilience.
What inspires you?
Everything you see around you, a beautiful face, a nice landscape, it can inspire you.
Recently, Jagger startled his admirers by opening up about the tumultuous journey that has defined his life. Mick Jagger is now 80. How he lives is sad, and the more you dig in, the more tragic it gets. Brace yourself for one tough roller coaster ride through a quagmire of sadness behind all the glitz and glamour of being a rock star. This is the tumultuous, behind-the-curtain story of Mick Jagger. An icon of music through the decades. Sir Michael Jagger is an icon of the music industry whose indelible mark on the world of entertainment spans decades. Best known as the charismatic frontman and co-founder of the Rolling Stones, Jagger's influence extends far beyond the realm of music. Together with the band's lead guitarist Keith Richards, Jagger has penned some of the most iconic songs in rock history. Their songwriting partnership is one of the most successful collaborations in the music industry. Jagger's magnetic stage presence, characterized by his distinctive voice and dynamic performances, has captivated audiences worldwide. Alongside Richards' unmistakable guitar style, Jagger's energy and charisma have become synonymous with the Rolling Stones' enduring legacy. In the 1980s, Jagger embarked on a successful solo career, releasing several albums and collaborating with acclaimed artists like David Bowie. His solo ventures, including the chart-topping single Dancing in the Street, further solidified his status as a cultural icon. He is also a savvy entrepreneur and philanthropist. Co-founding Jagged Films and producing critically acclaimed movies, Jagger has demonstrated his acumen in the world of entertainment beyond performing. Despite the challenges and controversies that have accompanied his fame, including tumultuous relationships and public scrutiny, Jagger remains a towering figure in popular culture. Inducted into prestigious halls of fame, knighted for his contributions to music, and celebrated for his groundbreaking influence, Jagger's legacy continues to resonate with audiences worldwide. However, even legends are not immune to the passage of time, and recent health troubles have underscored Jagger's mortality despite his seemingly eternal presence on stage. In early 2019, news broke that the Rolling Stones were postponing tour dates due to Jagger's illness, causing a ripple of concern among fans worldwide. At 75 years old back then, it was understandable that the rigors of touring might take a toll, but the specifics of Jagger's condition remained shrouded in mystery. As the dust settled, Jagger emerged from the shadows to address the situation. It was revealed that the rock icon had undergone heart valve replacement surgery, a procedure that temporarily sidelined the living legend. Remarkably, within a mere 2 weeks of the surgery's announcement, Jagger was back on his feet, defying expectations and reassuring fans of his resilience. While Jagger's recent health scare served as a sobering reminder of his mortality, it also highlighted his enduring passion for music and his unparalleled ability to overcome adversity. As the Rolling Stones continue to defy the odds and captivate audiences worldwide, Mick Jagger's legacy as a true rock and roll icon remains firmly intact. But the story has just begun. Early years and musical beginnings. Sir Michael Philip Jagger, better known as Mick Jagger, was born into a modest family in Dartford, Kent, on July 26, 1943. His father, Basil Fanshawe, Joe Jagger, was a respected gymnast and physical education teacher who popularized basketball in Britain. His mother, Eva Ensley Mary, hailed from Sydney. Despite their middle-class background, Mick's parents instilled in him a love for music and an appreciation for the arts from an early age. Growing up, Mick was encouraged to follow in his father's footsteps, but his passion for music was undeniable. From singing in the church choir to listening to singers on the radio and watching them on TV, Mick's fascination with music knew no bounds. His natural talent and love for singing foreshadowed the legendary career that lay ahead. His path to stardom took a fateful turn when he crossed paths with Keith Richards at Wentworth Primary School in Dartford. Although they lost touch when they attended different schools, fate intervened, and they reunited on a train platform in 1961. Totally random, but perhaps written in the stars. Bonding over their shared love for artists like Chuck Berry and Muddy Waters, Mick and Keith's musical partnership was born, and thus, Rolling Stones was born. After leaving school in 1961, Mick pursued further education in finance and accounting at the London School of Economics. He also partnered with Keith Richards and Brian Jones to explore the burgeoning rhythm and blues scene of 1960s London. As Mick, Keith, and Brian's musical ambitions grew, they formed the nucleus of what would soon become the Rolling Stones. Their collaboration with the likes of Alexis Corner's Blues Incorporated paved the way for their own band's formation, and Mick took the role of the charismatic lead singer. The Rolling Stones. In the early 1960s, the Rolling Stones began playing for minimal pay at London's Ealing Broadway tube station. Originally dubbed the Rolling Stones, they later changed their name for a more formal tone. Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, Brian Jones, Ian Stewart, Dick Taylor, and Tony Chapman, who replaced Mick Avery, formed the initial lineup. The band's sound was heavily influenced by American rhythm and blues, with covers of artists like Chuck Berry and Bo Diddley dominating their early performances. However, under the guidance of manager Andrew Loog Oldham, Jagger and Richards began crafting their own songs. The band achieved some success with songs like The Last Time, released earlier in 1965. While the song garnered attention and chart success, it was another release that solidified the Rolling Stones' status as one of the most influential rock bands of all time. Their first big break came with the release of their single Satisfaction on June 6, 1965. This iconic song catapulted the band to international fame and became one of their signature hits. It was the lead single from their album Out of Our Heads, and was met with an overwhelmingly positive response. It quickly rose to the top of the charts in multiple countries, including the United States and the United Kingdom. The commercial success of Satisfaction was staggering. The single became one of the best-selling singles of the decade. Its rebellious lyrics and infectious guitar riff resonated with audiences worldwide, making it an anthem for a generation. The song's success helped propel the Rolling Stones to superstardom and paved the way for their continued dominance in the music industry. However, despite their musical success, the Rolling Stones faced legal troubles in the late 1960s due to allegations of drug use. Jagger and Richards were arrested and sentenced on drug charges, though their sentences were eventually modified. The band also struggled with internal conflicts, particularly with Brian Jones, whose drug use and psychological issues led to his departure from the group. Tragically, Jones drowned in 1969, shortly before the band's performance at Hyde Park, where they debuted their new guitarist, Mick Taylor. The year 1969 ended on a somber note for the Rolling Stones with the Altamont Free concert. The concert, held on December 6, 1969, was a celebratory event for the release of the Stones' album Let It Bleed. However, the day descended into chaos as tensions escalated between concertgoers and members of the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club, who were hired as security for the event. Amid the chaos, 18-year-old Meredith Hunter was fatally stabbed by a Hells Angels member while the band performed on stage. The incident, captured on film, brought widespread condemnation and negative press for the Rolling Stones. The incident marked a dark turn in the band's history and was seen as emblematic of the decline of the 1960s hippie movement. Mick Jagger later recounted that in the aftermath of Altamont, he grappled with fear. However, despite all the concerns, he felt compelled to continue touring, viewing it as an integral part of his identity and purpose. The next year, Jagger purchased Stargroves, a manor house in Hampshire, where the Rolling Stones and other bands used the Rolling Stones mobile studio for recording sessions. Around the same time, the film Performance, featuring Jagger as reclusive rock star Turner, finally hit screens, with Keith Richards' girlfriend Anita Pallenberg also making an appearance. The early 1970s also saw significant shifts for the Rolling Stones. Seeking to avoid high taxes in the UK, amidst internal tensions exacerbated by Keith Richards' heroin addiction and a split with manager Alan Klein, Jagger took on greater control of the band's affairs, and this management structure has persisted over the years. While in France, Jagger contributed to songs on albums like Sticky Fingers and Exile on Main Street. During the band's 1972 American tour, Jagger came adorned with glam rock attire and glitter makeup. The band's musical interests shifted towards the blues, notably showcased in Exile on Main Street. Critics lauded Jagger's emotive vocals on tracks like Let It Loose. The band's versatility was also evident in the release of Jamming with Edward in 1972. Subsequent recording sessions in Jamaica birthed the successful album Goat's Head Soup in 1973, featuring hits like Angie. However, legal troubles over drugs, dating back to their time in France, interrupted production, but didn't halt their success. In 1974, the band released It's Only Rock and Roll, produced by Jagger and Richards, followed by the recruitment of Ronnie Wood as guitarist after Mick Taylor's departure. Wood brought stability and mediation to the group, and this is evident in albums like Black and Blue and Some Girls, where the band explored disco and punk influences under Jagger's lead. However, tensions brewed between Jagger and Richards during recording sessions for Emotional Rescue in 1980. Despite reaching chart-topping success with the album, Jagger refused to tour, and this strained the duo's relationship. The next year, the band embarked on a U.S. tour, leaving little time for new album production. Tattoo You, released that year, featured outtakes and became a commercial hit, boasting singles like Start Me Up and Waiting on a Friend, showcasing Mick Taylor's unused guitar tracks. Simultaneously, Jagger ventured into a solo career, seeking to establish his artistic identity apart from the Stones. His debut solo album, She's the Boss, was released in 1985 and was well received by fans and critics. As part of his solo career, Jagger also performed at Live Aid in 1985, alongside Tina Turner and David Bowie. Meanwhile, the tensions between Richards and Jagger escalated further, leading to what was dubbed World War III. Despite the strain, Jagger persisted with his solo endeavors, releasing Primitive Cool in 1987, while Richards launched his own solo album, Talk Is Cheap. However, a reunion in Barbados in 1988 saw the duo rediscover their musical synergy, and they reinvigorated their collaborative spirit. The realization of their collective strength prompted the band's return with Steel Wheels in 1989, and it was a major triumph. The 1989 to 1990 Steel Wheels Urban Jungle Tour marked the band's resurgence, featuring their largest stage production till then. The tour produced the acclaimed concert album Flashpoint and the concert film Live at the Max. Notably, it was Bill Wyman's farewell tour, as he chose to leave the band officially in January 1993. After reconciling their differences, Mick Jagger delved once again into his solo career, enlisting Rick Rubin as co-producer for his third solo album, Wandering Spirit, which he released in February 1993. Meanwhile, Keith Richards recorded his second solo studio album, Main Offender. Wandering Spirit saw Jagger collaborating with Lenny Kravitz and Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers, achieving commercial success and critical acclaim. Just a year later, the Rolling Stones, collaborating with bassist Darryl Jones, who replaced Wyman, released Voodoo Lounge in 1994. This release won the Grammy Award for Best Rock Album in 1995 and topped charts worldwide. The Voodoo Lounge tour, grossing $320 million, became the highest-grossing tour globally. Their continued success into the late 1990s included the album Bridges to Babylon, released in 1997, and its subsequent tour. The era also saw the release of the live album No Security and the continuation of tours in both the US and Europe. In the 2000s, Mick Jagger continued to thrive both as a solo artist and with the Rolling Stones. His fourth solo album, Goddess in the Doorway, released in 2001, included the single Visions of Paradise. Jagger's solidarity with Keith Richards was evident during the concert for New York City post 9/11, where they performed together. The band's staggering success from 1989 to 2001 was reported by Fortune. This solidified their status as one of the highest-grossing acts in music history. Celebrating their 40th anniversary, they embarked on the Licks Tour, coinciding with the release of 40 Licks. In 2007, the band set a Guinness World Record with their A Bigger Bang Tour's earnings. Jagger's involvement in special events continued in 2009, performing with U2 at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame concert. The following decade saw him diversify his musical ventures, forming the supergroup Super Heavy and collaborating on various projects. 5 years later, Jagger's White House performance with President Barack Obama showcased his enduring influence in music. He also appeared on Saturday Night Live and participated in benefit concerts like 12-12-12, the concert for Sandy Relief. The Rolling Stones continued with milestone performances, including headlining Glastonbury and releasing singles Gotta Get a Grip and England Lost. However, just as things seemed to be rolling again, Jagger's transcatheter aortic valve replacement in 2019 briefly paused the band's tour. But he recovered swiftly and returned for more artistic collaboration. The band's enduring impact was evident in 2020 when Goat's Head Soup topped the charts, making them the first band to achieve this feat across 6 decades. Amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, they participated in the One World Together at Home concert and released the single Living in a Ghost Town. However, the unexpected passing of Charlie Watts in 2021 marked a poignant moment. Despite their loss, they honored Watts's memory and chose to continue performing. Jagger's ongoing reflections on Watts's absence highlight the profound impact of their bond. An impactful filming career. Mick Jagger, the music icon, has also been involved in acting and film production. His acting career has seen him take on roles ranging from the iconic Turner in Performance, released in 1968, to the Australian outlaw Ned Kelly in the 1970 film of the same name. He also composed the soundtrack for Kenneth Anger's Invocation of My Demon Brother in 1969. Although he missed out on roles like Dr. Frank N. Furter in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, Jagger's cinematic presence continued with brief appearances in films like Werner Herzog's Fitzcarraldo. Later in his career, he embraced villainous roles in movies such as Free Jack, which was released in 1992, and The Man